There's someone in your life right now whose entire world just tilted on its axis. Someone who's known you for what feels like forever, maybe years, maybe your whole lives, and they just had a moment that changed absolutely everything. I'm talking about that friend, that person who's always been there, that familiar presence in your life who suddenly can't unsee something they just discovered about you. And here's what's so wild about this. You didn't change. You didn't do anything different. You didn't try to make this happen. You've been exactly who you've always been, but something in them shifted, and now they're looking at you with completely different eyes. If you're watching this video, you already know something's different. You felt the energy change between you two. Maybe they're texting differently, more frequently, more thoughtfully. Maybe there's a new nervousness in their voice when they talk to you. Maybe you've caught them looking at you in a way that made your stomach flip. Or maybe you just have this knowing, this intuition, that something fundamental has shifted in how they see you. What I'm about to walk you through is going to explain everything that's been confusing you. Because this isn't just, oh, they have a little crush. No, this is someone who's been in your orbit, who's seen you at your best and your worst, who knows your quirks and your habits and your history, and they just fell in love with all of it. The realness of it, the totality of you, and what triggered this awakening in them. It's not what you think. It's not that you suddenly got more attractive or more interesting. It's something far more profound than that. And when I reveal it to you, you're going to understand why this connection feels different from anything either of you have experienced before. But before we go deeper, I need you to do something. If this message is landing in your spirit right now, if you already know exactly who I'm talking about, leave a heart emoji in the comments. Don't overthink it. Just let me know you're here and that you're feeling this. Because what we're about to explore together is going to shift how you understand this entire situation. This is about someone seeing you, truly seeing you, for the first time, even though they've known you forever. And once they saw you, really saw you, they couldn't unsee it. They can't go back. They're in love with you now, and they're probably terrified and exhilarated and confused all at once. Stay with me through this entire video, because we're going to unpack every layer of what's happening. Why now? Why them? Why this sudden shift after all this time? And most importantly, what does this mean for you, for them, for what comes next? Let me paint the picture of what's actually happening in their inner world right now. Because this is where everything starts to make sense. This person, this friend, this familiar face in your life, they're experiencing something that's throwing them completely off balance. They're going about their daily routine, and suddenly you're everywhere. Not physically everywhere, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually everywhere. You've become the soundtrack playing underneath every other thought they have. They're in the middle of a work meeting, and something reminds them of an inside joke you share, and they have to suppress a smile. They're scrolling through their phone before bed, and they realize they've been hovering over your name for 5 minutes, trying to think of a reason to text you. They're watching a show, and a character does something that reminds them of you, and their chest gets warm. But here's what's making this so disorienting for them. This isn't new territory they're exploring. This is a person they've mapped out completely. They know you. They've known you. You've been a constant in their life, a given, a sure thing in the category of people who are always there. And now their brain is trying to reconcile this new feeling with years of knowing you in a completely different context. They're having moments where they look back through your entire history together with fresh eyes. That time you showed up for them when everyone else was too busy? They're replaying it and feeling it differently. The way you laugh at your own jokes before you even finish them used to be just a quirky thing you did. Now it makes their heart race. The specific way you say their name. They're noticing it has weight now, significance, like it's in a different language than when anyone else says it. And listen, this person is probably fighting this so hard. Because falling in love with someone you already know, someone who's already secured in your life in a different capacity, it's terrifying. There's so much to lose. The friendship, the ease, the comfort of knowing exactly where you stand with each other. They're probably having full internal arguments with themselves. One part of them is going, "This is crazy. This is your name. This is my friend. I know them. I've known them. I'm just confused right now. This will pass." And another part, a deeper, more honest part, is whispering, "What if this is the most real thing you've ever felt? What if you've been loving them all along and just called it friendship because you weren't ready to know the truth?" They're scared of the implications. If they're in love with you, everything changes. The way they talk to you, the way they hang out with you, the way they exist in the same space as you, it all becomes loaded with meaning now. Casual becomes complicated, easy becomes electric, but here's what they can't fight, the truth of what they're feeling. And the more they try to talk themselves out of it, the more evidence piles up that this isn't going away. Because love that's rooted in genuine knowing, in years of witnessing someone be fully human, that's not surface-level infatuation. That's the deep stuff. That's the foundation that doesn't crumble. They might be looking for signs that you feel it too. Analyzing every text message, overanalyzing every interaction. Did you hold eye contact a second longer than usual? Did your voice sound different when you said goodbye? Are you being extra friendly or friendly? They're driving themselves a little bit crazy, trying to decode you, when before they could read you like their favorite book. And here's the thing that's probably keeping them up late into the night. They're realizing how much of their life already includes you. How many of their stories have you in them? How many of their best memories have you there in the background, or the foreground, or right beside them the whole time? They're seeing the architecture of their life and realizing you're not just in it, you're woven through it. You're structural. If you're resonating with this, if you can feel that this is exactly what's happening, I want you to type, "I feel this," in the comments. Let's create a space where this experience gets witnessed and validated. What I'm describing isn't speculation. This is the actual internal experience of someone who's falling in love with a person they already know deeply. And what you need to understand right now is that this isn't a problem to be solved. This is an awakening that's trying to happen. For them, yes, but possibly for both of you. Don't go anywhere, because what I'm about to share next will help you understand the specific trigger that caused this shift. And when you hear it, everything is going to click into place. Now we need to talk about what actually caused this seismic shift in how they see you. Because this is where it gets really interesting and really beautiful. What made them suddenly fall in love with you after all this time isn't that you changed. It's that they finally had the capacity to see what was always there. Something in their life shifted. Maybe they went through something hard. Maybe they grew in some significant way. Maybe they had space to reflect. Maybe they let go of something that was blocking their vision. And suddenly, they had eyes to see you clearly. And what they saw was this: your home, not in a cheesy surface way, but in a profound cellular way. They realized that being around you feels like the most natural thing in the world. That your presence doesn't require them to perform or pretend or adjust who they are. That with you, they can just breathe. They're probably comparing you to other people they've dated or been attracted to. And they're realizing something that's rocking their world. Those other connections required effort in a way you don't. Those other people were exciting but exhausting. Intriguing but ultimately incompatible. Attractive but not actually safe with you. They don't have to translate themselves. They don't have to explain their references or their humor or their worldview, because you already speak their language. You've been speaking it all along. They're just now realizing that shared language is rare, that it's precious, that it might be the most important thing. Here's one of the specific realizations they've had that changed everything. They noticed how you show love. Not romantic love, just love in general. The way you care for people. The way you show up. The way you remember details. The way you make space for people's feelings. The way you're loyal. They watched you be there for someone else. A friend, a family member. Someone in your life who needed you. And they had this thought that stopped them in their tracks. What would it be like to be loved by this person? To be the one they come home to to be the one they choose every day. And once that thought entered their consciousness, they couldn't evict it. It moved in. It redecorated. It's living there now, rent-free, running the whole show. They're also seeing your beauty differently now. And I don't just mean physical beauty, though they're probably noticing that too. Noticing things about your face, your mannerisms, the way you move through space that they've somehow never really paid attention to before. But more than that, they're seeing the beauty of your character, your integrity, your kindness, your strength, your vulnerability when you let people in, your specific brand of weird that makes you, you. They're recognizing that you're not just a good person, you're their kind of good person, that your values align with theirs in ways that matter, that you make them want to be better without making them feel bad about where they are, that you challenge them and comfort them in equal measure. Let me get really specific about another thing they've realized. You make their life better just by being in it. Not in dramatic ways necessarily, but in consistent everyday ways. Your texts make them smile. Your perspective on things helps them see situations more clearly. Your sense of humor lightens heavy moments. Your presence at gatherings makes those gatherings more enjoyable. You're an enhancement to their life experience. And they just realized they don't want to experience life without that enhancement. They're probably also having memories resurface, moments between you two, that they filed away as just friend stuff that they're now reinterpreting. That time you two stayed up talking until the sky started getting light and they felt more understood than they had in years. That wasn't just a good conversation. That was intimacy. That time you had a moment of eye contact that lasted a beat too long and you both laughed it off? That wasn't awkward. That was recognition. They're realizing that the foundation for this was being built the entire time you've known each other. Every shared experience, every inside joke, every time you showed up for each other, every moment of understanding. It was all creating something. They just didn't know what they were building until now. And now they're standing in front of this complete structure and going, oh, this is love. This has been love. I've been building love with this person and calling it friendship because I didn't understand what I was creating. And here's the thing that might shock you. They're not wrong. What you've had with this person, that friendship, that connection, that history, it was love. It is love. It's just ready to evolve now, ready to expand. Ready to become what it's always had the potential to be. If this is resonating so deeply that you can barely breathe right now, drop a comment and just say, "This is my story." You don't have to explain. Just claim it. Mark this moment. They're also recognizing something about timing. They're looking back and realizing why this couldn't have happened before. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe both of you had growing to do separately before you could come together differently. Maybe there were other relationships that had to end, lessons that had to be learned, illusions that had to shatter first. But now the timing feels right in a way it never has before. And that's not random. That's not coincidence. That's the universe, God, divine timing, whatever you want to call it, orchestrating something that's meant to unfold. Here's another thing they're grappling with. They're scared of losing you. Because confessing these feelings, acting on this love, it changes everything. And what if you don't feel the same way? What if this ruins what you have? What if they're reading the signals wrong and you're perfectly happy with things exactly as they are? That fear is real. It's valid. But it's also a sign of how much you mean to them. They're not being careless with this. They're not taking this lightly. The fact that they're scared shows how much they value you, how much they don't want to lose you, how much this matters. But underneath that fear is something stronger. Hope. They're hoping you feel it too. They're hoping that maybe you've also noticed the shift. They're hoping that the energy between you isn't one-sided, that this recognition is mutual, that you're also lying awake at night wondering what would happen if you both just admitted what's really happening here. And maybe you are. Maybe that's exactly why you're watching this video right now. Because you've felt it too, and you've been trying to understand what's happening, and you needed someone to articulate what you've been sensing but haven't had words for. Stay with me. because the next part is going to reveal why this specific type of love that grows out of genuine friendship and long-term knowing, is actually the most powerful kind. And understanding this is going to change how you see everything that's happening between you two. What's happening between you and this person isn't just romance. It's not just attraction. It's not even just love in the conventional sense. What's happening is the convergence of intimacy and history, of knowing and choosing, of friendship and desire. And that convergence creates something rare in this world: integrated love. Most people fall in love with potential, with projection, with the version of someone they meet on date 3 when everyone's on their best behavior. They fall in love with the idea of a person before they know the reality of that person. And then the relationship becomes this process of discovering whether the reality can match the fantasy. Sometimes it does, most of the time it doesn't. But this is the opposite of that. This person fell in love with your reality. They fell in love with the you that exists on random Tuesday afternoons. The you that's stressed and messy and figuring things out. The you that has bad days and weird habits and specific opinions about weird things. They fell in love with the full picture, not the highlight reel, and that's why this love has different power. It's not built on illusion. It's built on witness. They've witnessed you be human, and they're choosing you anyway. Actually, not anyway because of it. Because of your specific brand of human. Because your particular combination of strengths and struggles and quirks is what they want to wake up to, come home to, build a life around. Think about what that means. They've seen you in contexts where most people don't get seen until months or years into a relationship. They've seen you interact with your family, with other friends, in work mode, in relaxation mode, in crisis mode, in celebration mode. They have data, real data, and their heart took all that data and arrived at one conclusion. This is my person. There's a reason why so many successful long-term relationships start as friendships. It's because friendship provides the testing ground. It provides the low-stakes environment where people can be authentic without the pressure of romantic performance. And in that authenticity, real compatibility gets revealed. Real alignment gets discovered. Real love gets the chance to grow roots before it grows branches. What this person is experiencing right now is the moment when the roots that have been growing underground suddenly break through the surface. Suddenly the hidden foundation becomes visible, and they're looking at this fully formed root system, this complex, strong, deep network of connection that's been developing for however long you've known each other, and they're realizing what it's been preparing to support. A love that can actually last, because love without friendship is passion without sustainability. It burns hot and fast and consumes itself. But love that's built on friendship, that has fuel for the long term. That has infrastructure. That has multiple points of connection. Intellectual, emotional, spiritual, practical. You're not just attracted to each other. You genuinely like each other. You enjoy each other's company. You make each other laugh. You make each other think. You make each other better. And here's what they're realizing. That might be the biggest revelation of all. Being in love with you feels less like falling and more like landing. It feels like coming home to themselves. Because you don't require them to be anyone other than who they are. You've already met who they are, and you've already decided that person is worth keeping in your life. So stepping into romantic love with you doesn't mean putting on a costume. It means taking off the last remaining armor. They're imagining what a relationship with you would actually look like, and it looks easy. Not without challenges, not without growth required, not without the normal ups and downs, but fundamentally easy in the way that being with the right person is easy. It looks like more of what you already have, just deeper, more intentional, more committed, more everything. They're picturing going to sleep next to you and waking up next to you, and it doesn't feel like a fantasy. It feels like the most natural extension of what already exists between you. They're imagining building something with you, a home, a life, maybe a family, and it doesn't feel scary. It feels right, and they're recognizing something profound. They're not in love with who you could be. They're not in love with your potential. They're in love with who you already are, which means they're not waiting for you to change or grow or fix something before they can fully love you. They fully love you now, as is, complete. Do you understand how rare that is? How precious? Most people spend their whole lives looking for someone who will love them without conditions, without caveats, without a list of improvements they need to make first. And this person is offering you that. They're saying, with every fiber of their being, I see all of you, and all of you is what I want. If this is hitting you in the depths of your soul, if you're feeling tears forming because someone seeing you this completely is what you've been waiting for, type, I'm ready, in the comments. Declare it, claim it. Let the universe know you're ready to receive this level of love. Now I know some of you are thinking, but what if I don't feel the same way? What if I love them but I'm not in love with them? And that's a fair question. That's a real concern, but I want you to sit with something for a moment. Are you sure? Are you sure that what you feel is just friendship? Or have you also been feeling something shift? Have you also been noticing them differently? Have you also been wondering what if? Because sometimes we're so comfortable with someone, so used to them being in the friend category, that we don't let ourselves feel what we actually feel. We don't let ourselves go there. We keep our hearts in check because changing the dynamic feels risky. But what if the risk is worth it? What if you're both standing on opposite sides of the same door, both afraid to open it, both hoping the other one will make the first move? I'm not saying you have to be in love with them. I'm not saying you have to want a romantic relationship with them. But I am saying, be honest with yourself about what you actually feel. Don't let fear masquerade as lack of interest. Don't let comfort masquerade as lack of attraction. Really check in with your heart and see what's true. Because here's what I know, this moment is a gift. Whether you end up in a romantic relationship with this person or not, this moment of being seen so completely, of being loved so thoroughly, of being chosen so intentionally, that's sacred. That's not something to take lightly or dismiss quickly. That deserves your attention, your honesty, your courage. This awakening that's happening for them, and possibly for you too, it's not random. It's not accidental. It's the natural evolution of something real. And evolution requires us to be brave enough to let things become what they're meant to become, even when that means leaving behind the safety of what's always been. Before we move into what to actually do with all of this, I want to say, if this message is touching your soul, if you feel like this video was made specifically for your situation, consider leaving a super thanks. It's a way to say, this blessed me, and it allows me to keep creating these deep, spirit-led messages for souls who need them. No pressure, just an invitation if you feel moved. Now let's talk about what comes next. So where do you go from here? How do you navigate this delicate, beautiful, complicated situation? Let me give you some real wisdom that you can actually apply. First, create space for honest acknowledgement. Whatever is happening between you two, it can't stay in the realm of unspoken energy forever. At some point, truth needs words. At some point, the shift needs to be named. This doesn't mean you have to have a big, dramatic conversation tomorrow. But it does mean you both need to start being more honest, with yourselves and with each other. If you've also been feeling something change, stop pretending you haven't. Stop deflecting. Stop keeping things surface level to avoid the discomfort of depth. Start acknowledging, even in small ways, that something is different. Maybe that looks like holding eye contact a little longer. Maybe that looks like being more vulnerable in your conversations. Maybe that looks like asking real questions about feelings and wants and fears. And if they're showing signs that they're seeing you differently, if they're more attentive, more intentional, more nervous around you, acknowledge that you notice. You don't have to make it weird. You can do it gently. Hey, things feel a little different between us lately. Do you feel that too? That's not accusatory. That's not demanding. That's just creating space for truth. The worst thing you can do right now is pretend everything is exactly the same when you both know it's not. That builds pressure. That creates confusion. That makes intimacy impossible because you're both performing normalcy instead of being real. Second, Examine your own heart with ruthless honesty. You need to get really clear on what you actually want, not what you think you should want, not what would be easier or safer or less complicated. What does your heart actually want? Sit with yourself, really sit with yourself in quiet, in stillness, and ask, if there were no consequences, no risk, no fear of losing what we have, would I want to explore something romantic with this person? Don't answer immediately. Let the question breathe. Let your body respond. Pay attention to what comes up. If the answer is yes, if you feel excitement and longing and oh my God, yes, finally, then you know. Then the question isn't whether you want this. It's whether you're brave enough to pursue it. If the answer is no, if you feel resistance and I love them but not like that, and a clear sense that romantic love isn't what you feel, then you know that too. And that's okay. That's not a failure. That's just truth. And truth is always better than confusion or false hope. But here's the thing. Be honest about why you're saying no, if that's what you're saying. Is it genuinely because you don't have romantic feelings? Or is it because you're scared? Because change is intimidating? Because you're worried about what other people would think? Because you've convinced yourself you're not their type, or not ready for a relationship, or any other protective story? Fear is not the same as lack of desire. Make sure you know which one you're dealing with. Third, respect the preciousness of what you already have. Whether this evolves into romance or not, what you have with this person is valuable. Your friendship, your history, your connection, that matters. That's real. That's worth protecting. So as you navigate this shift, do it carefully. Do it thoughtfully. Don't blow up something beautiful because you're too afraid to handle it with care or too reckless to move slowly. This deserves your intentionality. This deserves your best effort at communication and honesty and gentleness. If you decide to explore romantic possibility, do it consciously. Talk about what you're both scared of. Acknowledge what you don't want to lose. Make agreements about how you'll handle things if it doesn't work out romantically. Create safety for the risk you're taking. And if you decide that romance isn't the path for you two, be honest about that too. Don't string them along. Don't keep things ambiguous because you like the attention or you're not sure. If you know it's a no, say that with love and respect and clarity. Give them the gift of knowing where they stand so they can process their feelings and eventually move forward. What you don't do is ignore this. What you don't do is let it fester in subtext and ambiguity until the friendship becomes so uncomfortable that it falls apart anyway. Address it, name it, work through it together. Fourth, trust the timing of this revelation. There's a reason this is happening now and not 5 years ago or 5 years from now. There's a reason they're seeing you differently at this specific moment in both of your lives. That timing matters. That timing means something. Maybe you've both grown into versions of yourselves that are finally ready for this level of connection. Maybe previous relationships had to end to clear the path for this one. Maybe lessons had to be learned and healing had to happen first. Maybe you both needed to know yourselves better before you could know each other in this new way. Trust that. Trust that if this is meant to become something, the timing will support that. Trust that if this is meant to stay friendship, there's a reason for that too. Trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be in this unfolding story. Timing isn't just about chronology. It's about readiness. It's about alignment. It's about all the invisible pieces falling into place so that what needs to happen can happen. So if you've been wondering why now, the answer is because now is when both of you are ready to see the truth. Fifth, let go of the outcome and stay present with the process. You can't control how this turns out. You can't make someone feel what they feel or not feel what they feel. You can't force a romantic relationship into existence if it's not meant to be, and you can't prevent one from forming if it is meant to be. All you can control is your own honesty, your own courage, your own presence. So instead of obsessing about what if we date and it doesn't work out, or what if they don't actually love me the way I love them, or what if this ruins everything, just be here now. Be present with what's actually happening. Feel what you actually feel. Say what actually needs to be said. Take one honest step at a time. The future will unfold based on what you do right now, in this present moment. So make right now matter. Make right now real. Make right now brave. Sixth, remember that evolution isn't betrayal. Some of you are feeling guilty about the possibility of this friendship changing form. Like you're betraying the friendship by wanting it to be more. Like you're being disloyal to what it's always been by letting it become something different. But evolution isn't betrayal. Growth isn't abandonment. Transformation isn't loss. This isn't about destroying what you had. It's about letting it become what it's always had the capacity to be. The friendship doesn't disappear if it becomes romance. The friendship becomes the foundation of the romance. Everything you've built together becomes the ground floor of something even more beautiful. Don't feel guilty for wanting more. Don't feel bad for letting feelings evolve. Don't apologize for being human and having a heart that grows and changes and discovers new dimensions of love. That's not wrong. That's not selfish. That's not destructive. That's alive. That's real. That's how love works. If you felt guilty about this and you're ready to let that guilt go, type, "I release the guilt" in the comments. Let's create a collective moment of permission to feel what you feel without shame. Finally, honor the sacred nature of being truly seen. Whether this becomes a romantic relationship or not, what's happening here is profound. You're being seen, fully seen, loved for who you actually are, not who you pretend to be or who you could become. Seen and chosen and wanted, that's rare. That's precious. That's the thing most people search their whole lives for. So even if you're scared, even if you're confused, even if you don't know what comes next, take a moment to just receive that. Let yourself be known. Let yourself be loved. Let yourself feel the bigness of being somebody's yes, this one, this is my person, because regardless of what happens next, that moment of recognition changes you. It shows you that you're lovable, not despite your humanity, but because of it. It shows you that being fully yourself is not only enough, it's everything. It shows you that the right person doesn't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be real. So here you are. Someone you've known forever just realized they're in love with you. And the reason they finally saw you differently, it's because they finally had eyes to see. Because they finally grew into someone who could recognize what was right in front of them all along. Because the timing finally aligned. Because the universe decided it was time for truth. This isn't small. This isn't casual. This is someone's heart reorganizing itself around you. This is the architecture of someone's life, shifting to make room for you in a new way. This is years of knowing suddenly crystallizing into recognition, and what you do with this matters. Not because you owe them romance, not because you have to feel what they feel, but because you owe both of you honesty. You owe both of you courage. You owe this connection, whether it becomes romance or stays friendship, the respect of being real about what's actually happening. Maybe you're going to end up together. Maybe this is the beginning of the most beautiful love story, where two people who already know each other deeply get to discover each other romantically. Maybe you'll look back on this moment as the turning point, the moment everything changed, the moment you both finally admitted what your hearts have been whispering for longer than you realized. Or maybe you're going to have an honest conversation and realize that what you have is perfect as it is. That the love between you is real but not romantic. That you can honor what they feel without needing to match it. That friendship is the right form for your connection. And that's okay too. That's not a tragedy. That's just truth. Either way, something sacred is happening here. A moment of recognition. A moment of vulnerability. A moment where someone is brave enough to see you fully and declare that what they see is beautiful, is wanted, is loved. Don't take that lightly. Don't dismiss it. Don't minimize it to protect yourself from the bigness of it. Let it mean what it means. Let it touch you where you need to be touched. Let it show you something about your own worthiness of love. And then when you're ready, be brave enough to respond. Be brave enough to tell your truth. Be brave enough to either step forward into possibility or step back with compassion. Be brave enough to honor both what you feel and what they feel, even if those feelings don't match perfectly. Because that's what love requires. Bravery. Not the bravery of certainty, but the bravery of honesty. Not the bravery of having all the answers, but the bravery of showing up anyway. Not the bravery of fearlessness, but the bravery of being scared and speaking truth anyway. This person looked at you, really looked at you, and their heart said, yes, that's a gift. Receive it as such. Whether you say yes back or not, whether this becomes romance or stays friendship or evolves into something you don't have words for yet, receive the gift of being seen, being chosen, being loved for the totality of who you are. You've been asking the universe for confirmation that you're lovable, exactly as you are. This is your confirmation. You've been wondering if anyone will ever see past your walls and love what they find there. Someone just did. You've been hoping that maybe, just maybe, the right person has been closer than you thought. They have been. Now it's your turn. Your turn to be honest. Your turn to be brave. Your turn to look at this person you've known forever and decide, what do I actually want here? What does my heart actually need? What truth am I ready to speak? And whatever that truth is, speak it. With love, with kindness, with courage. Speak it and trust that honesty, even when it's scary, even when it changes things, even when you don't know what comes next. Honesty is always the path forward. Before I close, I want to honor those of you who've stayed through this entire message. If this spoke to your soul, if you felt like I was describing your exact situation, if you're feeling both terrified and hopeful right now, consider leaving a super thanks. It helps me continue doing this work, continue creating these messages for souls who need to hear them. But more importantly, your engagement lets me know I'm not alone in believing that love, real love, deep love, is still possible in this world. And it is possible. What's happening between you and this person proves that. Love that's built on foundation. Love that's rooted in reality. Love that sees and chooses and stays. That's possible. That's available. That might be exactly what's trying to unfold in your life right now. So go forward from this moment with clarity, with courage, with an open heart and honest lips. Go forward knowing that you deserve to be loved exactly as you are, and someone just showed you that they're ready to do exactly that. The question is, are you ready to receive it? Are you ready to let what's been friendship evolve into what it's always had the potential to become? Are you ready to risk the comfortable for the possibility of something extraordinary? Are you ready to say, I see what's happening here, and I'm not going to pretend I don't? Only you can answer that. But whatever you answer, make sure it's true. Make sure it's yours. Make sure it's coming from your actual heart, not from fear disguised as wisdom or comfort disguised as truth. This is your moment. This is your choice. This is your chance to be brave about love. Take it. Drop one last comment before you go, just one word that captures where you are right now with all of this. Scared, ready, hopeful, confused, clear? Just one word. Let me know where your heart is. Because wherever you are, that's perfect. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. And remember, someone you've known forever just realized they're in love with you. That's not nothing. That's everything. What you do with that everything is up to you, but you're not alone in this. Thousands of people watching this video are in similar situations, feeling similar feelings, facing similar choices. You're part of a community of souls who are brave enough to let friendship evolve, courageous enough to face the possibility of love, honest enough to admit when things are changing. So breathe. Take your time. Trust yourself. Trust them. Trust the process. Trust that whatever is meant to unfold will unfold, and your only job is to show up honestly for it. This is one of those moments you'll remember forever. The moment before everything potentially changed. The moment when you knew something real was happening and you had to decide how to respond. Years from now, whether you're together or you're still friends or you've gone your separate ways, you'll remember this feeling. This anticipation, this edge of possibility. Make it count. Make it real. Make it brave. I'm sending you so much love, so much courage, so much faith that you're going to navigate this with grace and honesty and wisdom. You've got this. You really do. And to that person who's in love with you, who's terrified and hopeful and probably watching their own version of videos trying to figure out what to do, I see you too. I honor your courage in letting yourself feel this. I honor your fear about potentially losing someone who matters so much. I honor your hope that maybe, just maybe, they feel it too. The truth will set you both free. Whatever that truth is, so find it, speak it, live it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me with this tender part of your story. Thank you for having the courage to even click on this video, which means you're willing to face what's real instead of hiding from it. That courage is everything. That courage is what changes lives. That courage is what creates the kind of love that lasts. If this message blessed you, truly blessed you, one more time, leave that super thanks. It's not required, it's not expected, but it's appreciated beyond measure. It allows me to keep showing up for souls like yours, to keep creating these spaces where truth gets spoken and hearts get encouraged and love gets honored in all its complicated, beautiful forms. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because there's so much more I have to share with you. So many more messages your soul needs to hear. So many more moments of how did they know exactly what I'm going through? Waiting for you in the videos to come. You came here for confirmation, and I hope you got it. You came here for clarity, and I hope you found it. You came here for courage, and I hope you feel it rising. In your chest right now, someone you've known forever just realized they're in love with you, and now you know why. Now you know what's really happening. Now you know what comes next is entirely up to you, so go. Go have that honest conversation. Go examine your own heart. Go be brave about whatever truth you find there. Go honor this moment for the sacred thing it is, and know that whatever unfolds from here, you're not walking into it blind. You're walking into it with eyes wide open, heart fully aware, and the courage to let love be what it needs to be. Whether that's romantic love that changes everything, or friendship love that stays exactly what it's always been, or something in between that you create together. The universe brought you to this video for a reason. You know that, right? Out of millions of videos, you found this one. At this exact moment in your story, when you needed these exact words. That's not coincidence. That's divine orchestration. That's confirmation that you're on the right path, that what you're feeling is real, that what's happening matters. So trust it. Trust yourself. Trust them. Trust the process. Trust that love, in whatever form it takes, is always worth the risk of being honest about it. This is me releasing you into your next chapter, into your brave conversation, into your honest evaluation, into your courageous choice. You've got everything you need within you to handle this beautifully. I believe that. I know that. And somewhere deep down, you know it too. Go be brave, beautiful soul. Go be honest. Go be open to whatever wants to unfold, and go knowing that you're loved by this person who just realized it. Yes, but also by the universe that orchestrated this moment, by the divine that's been guiding you all along, by your own soul that's ready for this next level of truth. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take good care of that tender heart of yours. It's precious, it's powerful, and it's about to lead you exactly where you need to go. With so much love and belief in your courage, this is your moment. Take it.